Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to Against the Public for Friday, March 22nd. We're the only show to analyze early betting patterns by the public, and we've done that again with 3 more free NBA plays for tonight. Cashed out again last night, and we're absolutely smoking on these free plays, so make sure you get involved with our NBA free plays for Friday. I'm Dana Lane. Before we get to tonight's free plays, jump on any one of my 3-packs in the NBA, college basketball, the NHL, scorching hot in all 3 of those right now. And you can get that for $49.99. Gives you all 3 plays for one low price. And of course, they always come with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee that states you must profit or receive an immediate site credit for the purchase price. In addition, if you don't want to mess with the individual games or the 3-packs, do what so many people did yesterday. Jump on a week all-access pass for just under $11 a month or a day, a 90-day pass less than $10 a day, or an annual all-access pass for just $3.56. So you could put it on a credit card, pay it off a little at a time, and roll those sleeves up and let's get to work so we can take that 2024 bankroll and continue to build it as we've done since day one. If you're not an all-access customer yet, this is all you need to know really to have the confidence to join me. Baseball season's coming. I mean, this is the time. We're in the middle of college basketball, the tournament season. NBA is coming to an end. NHL is coming to an end. Major League Baseball has already started technically. This is the time. We got a lot of sports and a lot of opportunity to build that bankroll. And right now in the NBA, if you've been with us over the last 30 days, you would have won 55% of your wagers. 55% of your wagers over the last 90 days. And that's showing the consistency that your bankroll deserves. You don't want to have too many peaks and valleys. You want to make sure that every day you give yourself a chance to profit. And if you do lose a little bit, it's just a little bit. And we come right back the next day and get that back. 1,239 units won in 2023 and 2040 NBA. In college basketball, we're up 1,054 units over the last 90 days. Absolutely rolling in college hoops. We're going to come back strong again tomorrow with 3 more tournament plays, maybe 4 tournament plays, but definitely 3 that we're working on right now. And of course, let's not forget the NHL. Over the last 7 days, 60% winners in the NHL. In 2024, cashed 1,923 units. That's number 1 amongst cappers with at least 500 plays. And the reason I say that is we fire away every single day. We're not putting up 3 or 4 plays. We're putting up at least 3 plays per sport. So you can kind of pick and choose which one you like. You don't want to play hockey. You don't like hockey very much. Don't play hockey. We want to give you as many options as possible because an all-access customer, that's what you pay for. Every pick from every sport to be involved all day long. When you're choosing a capper for your bankroll, guys, it never matters about the hype. It never matters about the fluffy words. It only matters what the numbers say your capper is. And so far in 2024, we've absolutely hammered sports books, and we're going to continue to do that. Now, let's get serious about your March bankroll. Get an all-access pass right now. That's all that needs to be said. We smashed another free card, as I talked about last night in the NBA, and we're going to do so again tonight. So let's get to your free plays. We're going to start it off 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 5:43, 5:44. Boston Celtics minus 13 and 224 versus the Detroit Pistons. Massive win against the Milwaukee Bucks in Boston the other night. They would have probably have lost that game if you gave Milwaukee a couple more minutes, or at least a minute. That momentum was certainly shifting in Milwaukee's favor. But Boston with a big win, even though they failed to cover a spread that, man, 8 points. I looked at that and I'm like, wow, okay. I know Milwaukee's a tad bit inconsistent, but Boston has had trouble on their home court against the better teams in the league. But Milwaukee did cover, but Boston gets the win. For me, get on this one as soon as possible. Boston opened up as a 14.5-point favorite on some smaller offshore books. It appears that number is going to settle a couple points lower than 14.5. We have it right now at 13. There's some 13.5s out there, but we're going to take it at 13 because that's the consensus number. The love for the 12 and 57 Pistons, as we see money coming in on Detroit already. You kind of maybe scratch your head a little bit and say, well, why is that? Well, Detroit, despite a 12-57 overall record, it has been a terrific 35-34 ATS. Has a 35-34 ATS mark this season. And even though they haven't really been great of late, they've dropped 3 of 4 against a number, which included a 25-point loss to Boston 4 days ago. I think they're going to bounce back in this one. I always like to, especially when there's a kind of a back-to-back situation, even with a game in between, kind of a real quick turnaround. And one of our other games later is going to have this as well. A real quick turnaround. I'm getting a decent amount of points here. We might catch Boston sleeping. But if you do remember in that game, Boston hit 22 threes, and Derek White was 6 of 12 from 3 in that game. So do I think that's going to happen again? Nah, probably not. I think 13 is a fair number still, so I'm going to grab Detroit plus the points as your first free play. Game number 2, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5:47 and 5:48. Cleveland Cavaliers at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves minus 5.5, 211.5 is your total. Another game to jump on as soon as possible because this number has already jumped up after opening up at 4.5. This is a revenge spot as these two teams obviously have played their entire season series within a couple weeks period of time, which is great again because I do like these bounce back situations. I'm not as excited about it if they played 3 months ago, but if they played within a few days or a week ago, I do like that comeback situation. In game 1, Cleveland beat Minnesota by 9, but of course, although it looks like a 9-point victory, it looks like an easy win. That game, believe it or not, did go to overtime. Cleveland played without Donovan Mitchell in that game. Remember, the Wolves in that game were coming off of that massive win against the Indiana Pacers, a very emotional win. So to ask them to come back the night after and then go to overtime, I really think says more about the ability for them to take that game to overtime and stay focused after a big win against the Pacers than it does about losing that game by 9 in overtime. You would think Minnesota, I think, are going to be wide awake for this for various reasons. Number one, the revenge spot that we talked about, but also number 2, they're now 3rd in the West behind OKC and Denver, and they're just 5-5 in their last 10. OKC and Denver are going on little runs, so this is a game that they really need to win. Mitchell's going to be out again for this one, and of course Towns is going to be out for Minnesota, but we are going to take Minnesota minus 5.5 as your second free play. And then game number 3, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Memphis Grizzlies versus the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs minus 6, 218.5. I know how to pick the best games on the schedule. You got to put a wager on this. That's the only way you can watch it. But both teams, as you know, are going through the motions at this point in the season. But to me, it's a manner in which both teams are losing, and specifically the Spurs the other night. They were really sloppy. And I still thought that they played very well in spurts against Dallas, but you can't have 16 turnovers, as Popovich said in his post-game press conference, and expect to come up as winners. The turnovers, to me, it breaks up continuity, and it creates long periods of time where teams go without scoring, which really impacts our wagers when you're talking about the totals. It's not a matter with either of these teams. It's not a matter of playing hard. Memphis has gone through 29 different guys this year. They've dealt with the suspension to Morant. I mean, they're certainly not where they want to be at this point, where they expected to be. And of course, San Antonio is still growing and trying to put themselves into a place where they can be a contender, but they're just not right now. And so when you're battling injuries, you're battling sloppiness, you're battling a lack of cohesion, which both teams are going through right now, you simply get totals like 218. You could actually bring it down a little bit more. I thought it was going to be a little bit less. I think 218 is a pretty generous number, so we are going under 218. I think this is going to be a sloppy game where large spurts of time go without either team scoring. So I see a lack of consistency on the offensive end for both teams, and simply because neither one of them has shown the ability to put together long periods of time where they're consistent. So we're going to go under that 218.5. So that does it for your 3 free plays today. Go to pickdawgz.com right now. Get involved with one of my many packages that are available. Thank you so much to everybody that has joined me for the next couple days in college basketball. A 30-day pass is flying off the shelf. Appreciate that as well. Remember, the 3 packs will be up there for the NBA, college basketball, and the NHL. I'll at least have my college basketball 3-pack up there tonight. And then, of course, NBA, NHL will be up there very early in the morning. So no matter how you do get involved, please make sure you do. Let's get to our 3 free plays one more time. Detroit plus 13, Minnesota minus 5.5, and Memphis San Antonio under 218.5. This continues to be a massive month for us. Let's stay disciplined. Let's continue to add to our 2024 bankroll. We had a really good, a really solid Thursday, and that sets us up for a fantastic weekend. A lot of sports this weekend, so we're very excited about that. That does it for today's show. Thank you to everybody for watching, all the great comments on YouTube. This thing just continues to grow, and I appreciate all the trust and all the, whether you just tail the free plays or you have invested in my plays. Thank you to everybody that makes this possible. From the bottom of my heart, truly appreciate it. I'm Dana Lane. Let's make sure we crush them all week long. Have a good night, everybody.